and welcome to the Retro Lab. In this episode we're going to be showing you how to fit some coilovers to a VW Bora or Jetta in America. So the first thing to do is to get the car jacked up on an axle stand and get the wheels off. First thing we want to do is undo this little Torx bit which connects the suspension. It's just a bracket actually, isn't it? Yep. Just a bracket for all the wires and stuff. It's a T25. Next, undo the upper and lower drop link bolts. Oh, yes. And here is the now removed drop link. Next, undo the pinch bolt that connects the hub to the suspension strut. The bolt is removed. The next thing to do is to attach some spring compressors to the suspension springs to give you some slack so you can remove the strut from the hub. Disconnect the ABS sensor. We tried to open the pinch bolt a bit more using a hammer and a chisel so the hub would be more easy to remove. Strike the hub repeatedly with a hammer until it becomes disconnected from the suspension strut. So, after a lot of hammering, we've got the hub out of the suspension. It is ready to come out, but we'll need to loosen the top mount, or take the top mount off before we are able to do that. Easy. So 21mm, and then you just need to basically keep taking it all to bits.
Keep this and put it in order.
So you turn one way and one the other, and it kind of locks against each other.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're using the original bush and some of the old nuts with the new coilovers. Reattach the nuts in the same order as you removed them from the original.
You put the top mount springs on, and then the spacer, the rubber bush thing, and then the nut. Definitely tight, isn't it? So torque it up to 44 foot-pounds. Watch it's not just turning the shaft.
Don't go tight now. It cracks the bearing.
Oh, right.
To ensure the parts are all locked together and nice and tight, use an Allen key through a spark plug socket. This will allow you to stop the suspension strut from rotating while you tighten the nut. We put some grease in where the suspension strut will go to help the part slide into place. Get an assistant to hold the strut in place while the top nut is tightened. Then simply jack the hub up to meet the new strut. You may need to give it a few taps of a mallet to get everything into alignment.
In doubt, give it a clout. So now we got the new suspension strut in the car. All we need to do is reattach all the bolts and nuts we removed and plug in the ABS sensor and anything else that needs plugging in. So we've done the same for this side as we've done for that side with the suspension. We've now that the car's back on the ground, we've measured the height from the centre of the wheel to the top of the wheel arch to make sure it's the same on each side. But this side is 5mm higher. So what we're going to do, jack the car back up again, take the wheel off, and then there's a little ring that you raise up by 5mm, and then raise the locking one there to secure it in place, and then hopefully that should be even. Now that's the front done, we can now do the back, which isn't actually coilovers, it's springs and dampers.
The first thing to do for the rear suspension is to undo and remove the top mount bolts. Then undo the lower bolt while holding the nut on the other side with a spanner. Once that is done, you will be able to remove the suspension strut. You should then be able to pull the spring out of its mounting, retain the top bush from the spring. Clean any dirt from where the spring was mounted before fitting the height adjustment plate to ensure correct fitment. The adjuster plate can then be bolted into position. The new spring can then be put into place.
And that's the beam. The angle of the beam will come up to match that.
Yeah.
We've got to get that to there,
Yeah.
not down there.
We are using the original top mount and dust cover with the new suspension. Use some pliers or mole grips to hold the centre pin on the strut while you tighten the top bolt. Use a jack to raise the hub up so the new spring sits properly in place, then put the new strut into position. Attach the lower bolt and nut first.
So now that the rear struts are back in the car, all we need to do is reattach the top mount, which is 2 bolts, and then put the wheels back on, lower it to the ground, check its even height, and adjust it if necessary.
And here is the finished car. You can go lower with these coilovers, but you should really get engine raisers and your chassis notched before you do.
So that's how you fit height adjustable suspension to a VW Bora or Jetta in America. It's probably the same on the majority of VW and Audis. I'd say maybe slight variation in the angle of the springs and stuff, because on my A3 Quattro it was basically the same thing as well, and that was 4-wheel drive. So should be pretty much the same on all 2-wheel and 4-wheel drive Volkswagen Audi group cars. Okay, yeah, so thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and click the like button. Thank you very much.